vlog.
I have a bibber.
No, wait, do you want to see it? Do you see it?
I'm Sam.
I'm Dan.
And we're the
Sisters. We recently bought a 100-acre property and moved out of the city about 2 hours north. And we want to share with you all the cool things that we have planned for this property, because it's so much more than just living in a big space of land. It's figure out how we can be a bit more sustainable, a lot more, not a bit.
Yeah.
Slow down, learn how to become homesteaders.
Basically, we started a social media account together. We started a social media account and it kind of kicked off because we were sharing our story about what Sam was just saying, buying this 100-acre property, moving up north. And it's kind of unusual because like our family's now coming together later in life and we're raising our kids together. So we created a separate vlog on this channel that's talking about like our family dynamic a little bit more and like our sisterhood and how we just like live life together again and what we do. So in this vlog, we wanted to cover a little bit more about the property itself because we obviously have a house here and we're building and renovating other buildings, and we on our social media have shared and showed in snippets like what kind of buildings came on the property when we bought it and what our ideas and plans are, but we realized we didn't really have anywhere where we were thoroughly sitting down and explaining exactly what the process is and what the timeline is. If you want to know more like on the journey and like decision on like the selling and the purchasing of this property specifically, we can make a separate video of that if you just want to like comment your questions and stuff below, because this first specific video is going to be more on exactly like what buildings are on the property existing and kind of where we are at in the progression of those. First, we'll start about like what kind of came on this property when we first purchased the land. It came with 2 dwellings on the property and a barn, a Quonset hut with like a unit attached in front of that Quonset hut. We also purchased the property next door, which was a rounded off 12 acres that kind of completed this 88 acres, making it 100 acres in total. And there was another dwelling on that property. So there's 3 houses, an Airbnb unit, essentially a garage. This property has a garage.
You're missing buildings here. There was a garage. There's like 3 or 4 mini shed things.
Like hunt cabins.
Yeah, like there are a lot of
pre-made trails and stuff.
Yeah, and pre-existing buildings that were just so decrepit that you could not even save it. It was so collapsed.
Couldn't use it at all.
Could not use it. It was unsafe. Very scary. But
what we did do was save a lot of the materials and try to not disturb really the environment that it was around, but really recycle a lot of things that were existing and kind of refurbishing and bringing back to life the history of what was already created on this land, while also putting a little bit of our style and vibe into it as well. Yeah, and our own vision and dreams of what we want to do. While Sam and Jordan's house was being built, the 4 of us, like Sam, her husband, me and my fiance, lived in like one of the original houses here on the property that was like built in the 50s. But it was a great little home for all of us, and we had our first babies in that house together, so that was an interesting experience. Yeah, kind of going back
it's all been an adventure. But
our parents' house is actually where, I think we might be confusing you, but the original house that came on this property, like the 1-2 dwellings, Sam and Jordan renovated one of the dwellings. They're living here now. The second dwelling, which is where the 4 of us lived in while Sam and Jordan were renovating their house for the first few years, we've only been here a couple of years, has just been demoed this month. So that's where my parents' house is going to be built, is where one of these original houses is on the land. And it's kind of like sitting in a triangle of where Samantha and Jordan and mine and Gabe's house is.
Yeah, because the parents are the pillars of the family.
So how the property basically runs, because we get that question a lot, is we each have our own houses, which we're all responsible for. And when it comes to outbuildings, like the barn and any Airbnb units that we would want to build down the road or whatever, that's taken into as like a family discussion. So we always have what we call family meetings, and we sit down and have like proposals and budget sheets and kind of like minute takers or leaders of these meetings, so that we're all very clear and maintain this open discussion and communication, because it can be very tricky and difficult, and I think that that's what's like a big mind-blowing fact for people, is like how it works.
How do we make it work?
Yeah, how do you make it work, especially when there's money involved and family involved. So
and 3 different families.
And 3 different
essentially.
families. Yeah, so we do have to treat the property like a business when it comes to shared spaces, and kind of we all have our say and our goals and our vision, and it's about keeping that respect and open communication essentially. We could talk a little bit further about that without getting, if you would like us to talk more about that, but we'll just kind of keep cycling through like what's going on with the buildings at the moment. So those are what's going on with like our residential living houses. Sam and Jordan are living in one. My parents still live in their original house, so they're not like living on the property just yet, but they're building theirs. And then Gabe and I are just in a temporary living space at the moment as ours house is getting built.
Yeah. Well, what's really exciting, we've decided to get chickens. We're literally learning a little bit on the fly. I mean, based even on the research we've done.
Definitely
Definitely on the fly, because a lot of plans have already changed.
And it helps to have a very handy husband, because he helps with a lot of the construction, like the brooders, the tractors. I mean, we all chip in when and where we can, but it's very handy to have a handyman.
Yeah, so we
all work together in that.
Yeah, we got
for sure.
2-day-old chickens. Danielle wanted to start chickens from babies and raise them up, which required Jordan to build a brooder box, which is where they stay in. Mm-hmm. And then we've also helped out with building a chicken tractor, where you learned basically how to do it online, and we kind of modified it to
picked
our
a
own
design
needs.
that we liked, and then we again tried to use as many scrap materials. Like the roof was made from one of the old roofs of the demo of a house that we had. All the timber was reused from buildings around here. Yeah, I think the only thing we bought new was the hardware cloth, but yes, just a big learning curve, and it's exciting. It's really cool to see them grow, and it's gonna be great. Once we have our first egg, we're gonna frame it, a little trophy on it, because this is all very new to us.
Kind of, as we mentioned before, like the outbuildings were like just totally destroyed. They were not maintained. They were collapsed. The barn was literally collapsed. So with taking away those materials, we just re-solidified the base and the foundation to build a new barn. And that's kind of the stage where we're at right now. We've been site prepped, the foundation's been poured, the plumbing is going in, and then in the next month or two, like, we're gonna start see framing come up, which is really exciting.
Okay, so our kids are starting to wake up now, so we actually have to get going. But that's just like a little insight into the whole event space, the whole property in general, and just like what's going on. Leave us a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will continue to drop more videos.
Yeah, more updates of like how it's being built, what's being done, so you can keep seeing insights to the property.
Very excited.
You're waking each other up. Drop us any questions, comments, concerns, and we'll share more along the way.
Goodbye from the Ginger Sisters.